Okay, so as far as finding the polar coordinates based off of these Cartesian coordinates, there's not really anything real super tricky about it. Let's go ahead and take a look at, one example here, or a couple of examples. Let me zoom in on this a little bit. We're going to find the polar coordinates for the Cartesian coordinate -1, 1. So that's this point right here. Now, if we think about this point right here, when we're talking about its polar coordinate, we're looking for two things. We're looking for the radius r, which is the distance from the pole to that point, and we're looking for the angle from there to there, which is going to be our theta coordinate. And so looking at this, since this is a segment with that forms the hypotenuse of this triangle with side lengths of 1 and 1. That tells us that the radius is going to be equal to the square root of 2. And the angle here is going to be, let's see, that's 3 pi over 4 for our theta value. And so one ordered pair in polar form for this point is that. And there are a variety of others that I can list. For instance, I can cycle around 2 pi radian more, and I end up with the exact same point. And I could continue to cycle around in that fashion. I could go back in the other direction for my theta, and, have that. One other thing that I could do is I could consider this radius here to be negative, in which case the angle is heading off in the opposite direction. So for instance, I could write this point as negative square root of 2, comma, negative pi over 4, or negative square root of 2, 7 pi over 4. As I've said before, there are literally an infinite number of ways that I could write this particular Cartesian point in polar coordinates, and that's kind of the angle. The idea here behind finding them, basically you're looking at finding that distance, if it's not one that's obvious to you, using the Pythagorean theorem to find that distance, and then finding the angle, which we can basically do, if it's not an easy one like this one, we can basically do by using the two coordinates and taking the arctangent of the y coordinate over the x coordinate, and that'll give us an appropriate angle to get us started by writing one of these points. Hope that answers your question. Talk to you later.